In this video, we're going to be looking at Microsoft Access queries, and specifically how to sort, use wildcards, and show and hide. Let's get started. To create a query in Microsoft Access, I open my database and I go to Create. Within the Create ribbon, I will go to Query Design, and when I click on Query Design, my Query Design window shows up. And I have a little dialog box that says Show Table. This is where I'm going to select which table I want to do my query in. In this example, I'm going to use my patients table. So I'm going to click on Patients and click on Add and close my dialog box. Now before we get started, I just want to display all my patient fields. So I'm just going to make this a little bit larger. Next, what I want to do is I want to drag those fields or put those fields down here in my query area. Now there's two ways of doing it. One way is to just bring your mouse up here and double click on the field you want to bring down, and it'll bring it down. I'll just bring down a few of them. The other way is I click here on my field box and I can select it. Click my downward arrow and select the fields I wish. Now I prefer to do it the fast way and just double click on my fields up here. And that's it. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to just run this query. I just want to see, well, what does this look like? So to run the query, I bring my mouse here up on Run, the exclamation mark, click on it, and what it's doing is showing me my patient ID, surname, first name, gender, city, inpatient, ward, and day stayed. Now what I want to do is I want to do a quick sort. I want to sort by surname. I want to sort it, let's say, in ascending order. Now there's three ways of doing it. One way is make sure you're in your column you want to sort. And if you notice up here, it says ascending. If I click on it, if you notice, Microsoft Access has sorted my surname in ascending order. Now that's one way of doing it. Okay. Another way of doing it is, if you notice this little downward arrow next to surname, if I click on it, I can choose again sorting. Now right now it's currently sorted A to Z. Well, let's say I want to sort it descending, Z to A. I click on descending and it's sorted Z to A. That's the second way of doing it. Now, what I'm doing right now is I'm sorting after, I'm sorting after I have actually run the query. But maybe I want to sort before I run the query. So watch this. I go back to Design View, and let's say I want to sort by surname in ascending order. And remember, right now it's sorted in descending order. So I bring my mouse here where it says Sort, click the little downward arrow, and I click on Ascending. And what this will do is, as I'm running the query, Microsoft Access will sort by first name. So let me go back and run the query. And if you notice, surname is sorted. Now this is really nice, but perhaps I want to do two sorts. I want to sort first by surname and then by first name. Let me show you an example. In this little query, I have quite a few people with the surname Allen. So right now, if you notice, surname is sorted in ascending order, A, B, C, D, etc. But first name is not. So what I want to do is I want to first sort by last name, and then within last name, I want to sort their first names. So I want their first names in order, A, B, C, D, etc. Right now, it's in no order. It's just A, D, S, D, S. Okay? So I want to sort, by first name after I've sorted by surname. To do that, I go back to Design View, and I'm already sorting by surname. Next, I'm going to click my sort for first name, and I'll say ascending again. And now, when I run the query, it will first sort by surname, and then it will sort by first name. Let's see. And I'll just highlight my Allens. And you can see, again, sorted by surname in ascending order. And then within surname, my Allens is sorting by first name. A, D, David, D-A, Don, D-O, Sarah, S-A, and then Stephen, S-T. And that's how easy it is to sort. Let's go back to Design View. Oh, and let me just do one thing here. I'm going to run it again. And let's say I want to save this query. So I run the query and I want to save it. I just go up to Save. And we'll put in a name here. Let's say we'll call this Sorting. And click OK. And the query is saved. Next, what I want to do is I want to use some wildcards. So let me just close this query, and I want to create a new query. So I go back to Create, query design, and I'll use my patients table. Now this time I'm going to show you another way of bringing the table in. Okay. Now last way I clicked on patients and clicked on add. Another quicker way of doing it is bring your mouse on patients and double click, and it'll bring that table in. Click on close, and let me just bring down my fields again. So patient ID, surname, first name, gender. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see it. City, inpatient, ward, day state, and doctor number. Okay, now I'll make this a little bit smaller. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you wildcards. And there are two types of wildcards. The first wildcard is a star. And what the star represents is any number of characters, characters meaning letters or numbers. Okay, any number. It could be one character missing, or it could be many characters missing. The second type of wildcard is a question mark. A question mark represents one character, a letter or a number that is missing. Let's do an example of each and see how easy it is. So first we'll start with the star, or any number of characters. So I'm going to go and just run this query. Okay, and what I want to do is for surname, okay, I know that this person's surname, the patient's surname, starts with AL, but I'm not sure what it is after that. Okay, so I know it starts with AL, but I don't know what the name is after that, how many letters it is. So what I want to do is I want to do a query. So I click on criteria, and I will type in AL, okay, because I know the last name starts with AL, but I don't know what it is after that. Okay, I don't know if it's one letter or if it's 5 letters or 10 letters even after it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in AL and a star, okay, and what that star represents is any number of characters after AL. So the first name has to start with AL, but then it could be one character after it, it could be 10 characters after it, and Microsoft Access will bring it back. Let me show you, and we'll see an example of it. If you notice here under surname, okay, it brought back any surname, any last name that has AL in it to start. So it brings back Allen's, but it also brings back Algure, Alistair, and Allen again. So as long as it started with AL, it'll bring that back. It doesn't matter how many characters there are. And if you notice down here, okay, Microsoft Access has automatically put in the correct criteria, okay, or the correct query quote that we should be using. Okay, now we don't have to type in this exactly. Okay, Microsoft Access will do it for us, but it's just good practice. Okay, let's say this time, okay, I want to do another query, but this time I know the last name, okay, ends in L. Okay, I don't know what it starts with, I don't know how many letters it is, but I know the last name just ends in the letter L. So what I want to do is, and let's do it a little bit more appropriately this time, okay? Because we're using text, we always have to use double quotes. So I'll start with double quotes, then I'll put a star in, and then a L in double quotes. What that star means, before the letter L, you'll bring back any surname that ends in the letter L. It could be one letter, it could be, again, 5, 10, even 20 letters. As long as the last name ends in L, Microsoft Access Query will bring it back. Let's run it and see how many we have. And if you notice here under L, okay, it brings back all the surnames that end with the letter L, whether it's one L or a single L or 2 L's, it'll bring it back. And again, if you notice here, okay, we have quite a wide variety of lengths in terms of how many letters it brings back. It might bring back 5 letters, might bring 6 letters, might bring back even 7 letters. Okay, and that is another example of the star. Now, we use star for a beginning of a name. We use the star for the end of a name. Let's say this time, let me just erase this. I know that the first name starts with the letter H and ends in the letter E. Okay, so it starts with letter H, so I'm going to type in double quotes H star, and then the letter E, and then double quotes. And what this will do is bring back any name that starts with the letter H, has any number of characters in the middle, and ends in the letter E. So let me run that, and let's see how many we have. So in this example, I have two people that starts with the letter H and ends in the letter E. And again, in the first example, Hal, I have two letters, but in the second example, Hodge, I have three letters. Okay, and remember, star means any number of characters. It could be 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters, or 10 letters. And that's how easy it is to do using the wildcard command. Next wildcard I want to show you is the question mark. So let's say this time we'll go over the first name. And I know that the first name starts with the letter J, so I'm going to go double quotes, J, but I don't remember the second letter, okay? I don't remember the second letter, so I'm going to put in question marks, but I do know it is, their name is J something, M-M-Y, double quotes. So I don't know if it's Jim, it's Jamie, it's Jerry, I'm not sure, okay? I don't remember the second letter, but I do know it starts with the J, I don't remember the second letter, and I know it's M-M-Y, okay? The question mark represents one character missing, okay? And it can be a letter or it could be a number. Now, of course, in first name, we are expecting a letter. Let me run the query, and what it will do is bring back any name, okay, that starts with the letter J, one character missing, in the first example I, second example A, and then M-M-Y. And that's how easy it is to use the question mark. Let's do one more. Let's say this time, I know the first name starts with a T. I don't remember the second letter, and I know it ends in N-Y, double quotes. So it could bring Tiny, it could bring Tina, okay, could bring TB, I'm not sure, okay? Any letter between A to Z, it'll bring back. Let's run it and see what we have. And in this example, I have two. I have Tanny, T-A-N-Y, and Tony, T-O-N-Y. And if you notice, it only brings back, okay, one character missing, okay, only one character, okay. It won't bring back, you know, if it's T-A-N-N-Y, okay. Remember, question mark represents only one character. Now, before I go on and show you show hide, I just want to display one thing or show you one thing here. Okay. Right now I'm seeing patient ID, surname, first name, gender, city, inpatient, ward, day stayed, and doctor number. Let's say I want to run this query. Oops. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. But let's say I don't want to see all these fields. Okay. Let's say I don't want to see these three fields, gender, city, and inpatient. I want to hide them. So what should I do? I go back to design view, and if you notice way here, down here, it says show. And right now, all the fields have a check mark next to them. Let's say I don't want to see these fields. So I click on these three fields because I don't want them to be displayed. And what Microsoft Access will do is when I run the query, it will not display those fields. You'll only display the fields that have a question mark. And let me just show you one little more advanced feature here. Right now, I'm running my query based on first name, and the first name starts with a T. I'm missing one character in the middle, and it ends in NY. Okay. Now, what I could do is I could even hide the field that I'm running the query on, and it'll still bring me back the same number of results. Let me just show you. Right now, it's showing me, okay, my 3 results. But watch, even though I hide that field, it'll still bring me back the same results. It just won't bring me back the first name. And that's how easy it is to sort, use wildcards, and show and hide.